Perfect. Alright, here we go then. We're back for Broke Boys Tier 2, round 6 of the season on the Spanish Grand Prix. Barcelona. Last week was a rather chaotic race at Hungary. Plenty of action for sure. See if it's going to be another great race tonight. Typical took a surprise victory last week in round 5. Still a reserve driver, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Wardy is still our championship leader, although he's not racing tonight, which gives plenty of opportunities to Jesus in P2 in the championship, 9 points behind Wardy. And Sean, who has moved up into 3rd position after last week's race, but he's 28 points of the championship lead. Still very early days, and many things possible. We get qualifying underway in a few seconds. Probably gonna be very close once again, like it usually is in Tier 2. Especially at Barcelona, it's a pretty short track. 1 minute 11, 1 minute 12, 13s probably for Tier 2. I'll be surprised if anyone can get into the 11s. Because I could not manage it myself yesterday in the Tier X race. But that's another story. Anyway, qualifying is on the way. 19 drivers right now, as Skolker finally decided to join in. That means we can start off tonight. And Mitch is the first one out on track in the RB. And he is an RB driver, and Agenti has finally joined for his home race. So good to have them as well. Full grid, plenty of excitement. Good evening, Wardy. Sitting on the sidelines tonight. I have to hope that Jesus will not have a great race. Who knows? Who knows? Mitch already sending it on his outlap. And he will be the first one to try and set a lap time. The last corner should be flat out with the right setup. Still a slight lift for Mitch as he starts his flying lap. And already some issues for Jesus, it looks like. But it's still very early in qualifying, so shouldn't be too much of a problem for our current second place driver in the championship. As Mitch is struggling a bit to keep his car under control in this first sector. Best of luck to Jesus, that's the ultimate sportsmanship. You love to see it, and of course, love to see Ferrari score, but I'm sure they will be in good hands because last race's race winner Lofty Pickle is driving the second Ferrari tonight, so a good result is certainly possible tonight. And Mitch will be the first one to set a lap time. Unless he invalidates his final corner, but he takes it very carefully. And across the line it will be into the 14s to start off with. The 14.5. 5.4 to be exact. And Zimniak always doing his first lap on mediums, but goes quickest. Just for, not for a very long time though, because Stevie Boy with a 13.0 puts it at the top at the moment, and I think Stevie Boy is the new driver tonight, making their debut, if I'm not mistaken. Asa also on the mediums with a 13.9. Then we look at Gold Samurai to the top with a 12.4, and that's already pretty close to the under the 1 minute 12 mark. Sean goes in P2, can't quite match Gold Samurai's time, 12.6 for him as his first flying lap attempt. JCB has invalidated, and I think he's reserving tonight as well. Debut. And Jesus has finally joined back. Still plenty of time on the clock, 13 minutes. So shouldn't be an issue. Two Aston Martins at the moment in P5 and P6, but still half the grid yet to set a lap time. Jetty across line into P8. Then we've got Skullkiller rounding the final corner. Can he get inside the top 5, top 6 across the line? He certainly can, into the top 6 with a 13.3 right behind Scorer actually. And right in front of the other Aston Martin of Hunter. So splitting the two Aston Martins. And I think 10th Cannon will be the next one to cross the line. What can she do? She goes to the top with a 12.2. That's a great surprise. With an early advantage. As she puts it on provisional pole position. And a 12.2 is a very good lap. Very, very good lap. Ooh, Lofty Pickle getting all out of shape. But he is invalidated anyway, so probably gonna head into the pit lane, and he is. Make sure to not hit that pit wall. Could be very tricky. There was a bump on last year's game for a while that could have sent you into the wall. Fortunately, they removed it. Anyway, 10th Cannon's teammate Alpha High Wall also on a lap. And could this be an incredible day for Kick Sauber? 10th Cannon, she is 5th in the championship, Alpha High Wall P11. Sauber is 4th in the championship, but not too far off Williams. 22 points, but they could really use a good race. And Alpha High Wall will be pretty close, 12-7 into the top 5. That's going to be good enough for now. Toto in the meantime has gone into the top 3. I don't think anyone else is on the lap at the moment. Nobody is. Either on an out lap or an in lap. But Jesus is now out on track. Good to see. In a moment time we'll take a look at what he can do tonight. It's a rival absent. Here we go then, riding on board with the Mercedes. Gold Samurai in front has started a lap as well. We'll be keeping an eye out on what they can do. Can they get onto the front row? Maybe even provisional pole position. But into turns 1 and 2 with Jesus pretty quick chicane and flat out to turn 3, which never running. He's keeping it very tight to the inside curb. Jindal sector 1, 21.8, not purple in sector 1, but looked pretty decent. One of the RBs getting out of the way quite nicely. Now onto the back straight, the only other DRS straight. And into the final sector now, which is probably the quickest sector. Slide braking and then flat out to the line. And what will it be? Will it be 1:12.5 and into the top 5 on his first attempt. Solid blanker lap right into the top 5, and he can certainly work from that. As Lofty Pickle has gone into P3 with 1:12.3 and is very close behind Sean, but at the moment still nobody can match 10th Cannon. Where has this pace come from? I think she's been on the podium all season long. But right now she's looking at a pole position and maybe a shot at the race win. Typical, the only driver yet to set a lap time, but he is on a lap now. And that's a bit too tight on the inside, and that is lap invalidated for the Haas driver. Just under 7 minutes on the clock. And the majority is in pit lane. What is Sean going to do? Is he going to pull into the pit lane as well? No, he is staying out, so he might be starting his flying lap right now, and I think he is. Across the line, Agenti has left again. Not sure what's going on there, but let's hope he can get back in time. Now can Sean find a tenth of a second to beat Tent Cannon for pole position, also getting very close to the inside curb. Sector 1, not quite an improvement, but very close to his PB, still 23 thousandths of a second off. Now into turn 7 and 8, and these two are very tricky corners. Especially with the sausage curb on the outside, can really throw you off, and this corner should be flat out, even in the race, on lower fuel. Still not an improvement for Sean, he's losing time in sector 2 as well, half a tenth lost again. If he absolutely nails this final sector, he might still be on for an improvement. Let's see, no, he's pulling into the pit lane, so not good enough. And with 5 minutes on the clock, we'll do another lap in a few moments time. Anyway, Tent Cannon is also on a lap. And she is improving in sector 1 by almost a tenth of a second. Incredible to see the pace she has found. Riding over the inside curb of turn 7, flat out into 9. And Deer is open into the hard braking zone of turn 10, although the corner was much sharper a few years ago. Purple sector 2 as well. She's absolutely flying today. Only 2 flat out corners to the line, can't really mess it up. Nailing that as well. Is it going to be a 1:11 across the line? 1:12, 1:37. Decent improvement, and 1.5 tenths more than that clear of the competition. The Unisuni is desperately trying to get any temperature in the tires. Evie Boy trying to improve, but sector 1 lost 1.5 tenths. But he did gain 3 tenths out of nowhere in sector 2, so quite a lot of time to be found then. Could also be with the ERS, which is different on this game. Where you can manage it throughout the lap anyway. Final corner. Losing quite a lot of speed on mid corner, but across the line for a 13.007, 007, but it's only good enough for P11. And is Tent Cannon gonna do another lap? Because she's not going back into the pit lane with 2 minutes 48 on the clock. Not enough time to go back in and get a fresh set of tires. Does she think that she's going to be able to improve on this set? Really close in sector 1, but not quite an improvement. for the kick Sauber. Sector 2, still very close to her time, but she's losing just a little bit of time. Now just under a tenth of a second above her personal best. The final couple of corners is going to be hard to find any sort of improvement. She's pulling back into the pit lane. I think that's going to be qualifying over for her, and just has to wait and see if anyone can beat her time. And who's going to be the first one to cross the line? I think it is Hasa, 3.5 tenths up on his time right now, and P18 with a 1:13.5. But is looking at a decent improvement with 1 minute 12 on the clock. And across the line for 12.6 and into the top 10, P8 it is. And we've got the two Aston Martins, and they're about to start their lap. Skoker down across the line. He's going to start his lap now as well, as does his teammate for tonight. And Karen has retired from the session. She knows that there's no time left. Go out again. Typical, still without a lap time, but that's changed. Across the line, 13.0. And at speed 13. Gold Samurai, the final one to start his lap. And it looks like Jesus has backed off. Jesus has backed off. He's not gonna be starting any higher up the grid than P7. And that's gonna be crucial for the championship. Reach across the line into P14. But what can Sean do? Is not up on his time. Half a tenth down. 10th Cannon is in the garage. And Sean is not improving enough, and he's certainly not improving with a final corner like that. Loses control, and it's P2 at best. And Lofty Pickle is invalidated as well, so he won't be able to improve as well. Big slide out of the penultimate corner. The flag has fallen, the qualifying is coming to an end. Lofty Pickle P3, Yundi Sundi is only marginally improving his time, but Toru has set a purple second sector, and he might be the one to try and beat 10th Cannon for pole position. Gold Samurai now find the final corner. Can he improve across the line? No, he can't. With a 12.4 it is. Alpha Ball is invalidated. Total across the line. Can he get pole position? No, he can't. Misses out by 3/100ths of a second. And that means that 10th Cannon is on pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix, despite not even going out in the final few minutes. Getting pole position in the garage. Just like Sebastian Vettel 11 years ago. And 10th Cannon on pole position. That's a great surprise. But she's back at the front, two-time race winner last season. And she's looking for third. But only half a tenth ahead of Tono with an incredible effort as well. Sean lines up in V3 ahead of Lofty Pickle, the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Then we've got Yunisundi in P5 ahead of Gold Samurai. Jesus will line up in P7, so lucky that others behind couldn't improve either. Alpha Wall in P8, so could become a very good night for Kick Sauber. Simniak in P9, let's hope he doesn't get disconnected near the end of the race. Hasa lines completes the top 10 with a 12.6. Dusly in P11 and don't even get to see the rest of the grid. But we'll see that as the lights go out in a few minutes time. Incredible lap by 10th Cannon to put it on pole position. Definitely did not expect that tonight, but it's a great surprise and could make for a very good race once again. And with Sean and P3, this could become a very good race for him as well in the championship. He's a bit far behind Jesus and Wardy, but Jesus is down on P7 and he's right at the front in the fight for the win. So could make some decent ground in the championship. Had a bit of a rough start to the season, but slowly climbing up in the championship. Like Agenti is not going to be able to race, unfortunately, in his home race due to some issues with the game. Surprise, surprise. One minute till the start of this race, and it's a long run to turn 1. We see anyone pull off the George Russell move, like in real life. Could we see Sean do it actually? Be incredible. But let's hope all goes well and we survive the first lap without any major troubles. Here we go then. It's time to get this race on the way. The 5 red lights are on. 10th Cannon will start from pole position and will lead the way into turn 1. He should get a good start, and he does get a good start, and it's a great start from Lofty Pickle, but he makes contact with, I think it was Toto, and Sean has taken the lead into turn 1. He does go for the George Russell, though it doesn't quite go round the outside. Sean leads the way into turn 1 ahead of 10th Cannon. Then it's the 2 Alpines of Unisun, who is on the hard compound tires. ahead of his teammate Tolu on mediums. Zimniak has already got a 10-second time penalty. Not sure how that works. Gold Samurai is in P5 ahead of Jesus, who has gained one position with the start. Oh, and it's gone terribly wrong in the background, and I think that was Stevie Boy and Scorder crashing out violently in the background, and it's not really going well at the moment. Lofty Pickle all the way down in P19 after his spin on the start-finish straight. Let's keep it on track on this opening lap. It's a long race ahead, 32 laps to be exact after this one. But Sean has taken the lead ahead of Tent Cannon, and from P3 on the grid. What a start it's been by the Red Bull driver, but DRS will already be enabled on lap 2. So all Tent Cannon needs to do is just stay within that 1 second margin. Sunni is in P3 on the hards, but I don't think he will fight his teammate Tolu on the inside. Inherits that final spot on the podium, has the quicker tire for now, so no point in fighting between the two Alpines. They should listen to that in real life as well. Sometimes the Gold Samurai is now also having a look up the inside into turn 4. Wheel to wheel, Gold Samurai on the softs has the better grip. Zimniak running a little bit wide, and he's got ahead of his teammate Jesus actually, as we see Haza going wheel to wheel with the Haas, and Haza around the outside of the Haas, and Haza up into P8. Skolker has found himself inside the top 10. Not sure where he started actually. Let's take a look at the biggest winners and losers of this start. Skolker, 4 positions gained, and I think Mitch has spun it. He has, coming out of turns 7 and 8. And Hunter and Chetty also 5 positions gained. Zimniak is going around the outside. Zimniak on the softs as well. So he will have the early advantage in this race, but I don't think the softs last very long. Last lap of the race goes to Tent Cannon, and she's right behind Sean. And going for the move on lap 3, Tent Cannon retakes the lead away from Sean. And Zimniak having a half a look on the inside of Tolu. The 2 Alpines fighting with the 2 Mercedes. Oh, and Jesus is also looking behind a bit, because Haza is trying to go for the move. Mitch in pit lane as well. Looks like he's got some front wing damage. Same could be said for Scorder and Stevie Boy, who went off on lap 1. Meanwhile, Tent Cannon still leading the way, and Gold Samurai is trying his best to get within that 1 second. Trying to pull himself to the leading 2. And I think he's managed at just under a second, 9.5 tenths. It's gonna be close, needs to get the exit right. Not sure if he's got the DRS, and don't think he has. That could create an opportunity for Tolu to re-overtake. Meanwhile, re-overtaking, Sean is getting past Tent Cannon once again. And on lap 4, the Red Bull is out in front again, as Tolu gets past the Gold Samurai as well for that final spot on the podium. Bit wide into turn 1 by Zimniak. Happening all around the field. Skolker now up into P9. Good start for him so far. Yellow flags are out, and Zimniak has had a moment. He's dropped down to P12. So not sure what's going on, as Alpha Wall is going for the move on Tasli, who spins it around in turn 8. That's a reset the track. That's not really legal, but I did not see anything, as Stevie Boy gets past scored for P18. Such an incredible battle already. Meanwhile, Sean has created a 1.1 second gap over Tent Cannon. That is not great news for her, because she needs to be staying within the DRS to try and have a chance of the race win. Tolu is just outside the 1 second margin as well. And there comes Jesus. He's gonna get past Sunni into turn 1. And Jesus up into P5, doing a good work for his championship hopes, as Haas trying to go the long way around the outside of turn 3 and now pulling on the inside. Ooh, very close to contact. I think a bit of touching between the two. And he gets the job done up into P6. And Typical has had a moment in turn 3 as well. Looks like he has spun. Lap 5 of 33, the race is slowly but surely settling down. Get more into tire management. Yellow flags are out once again for Typical, having quite a few issues on this lap, and it looks like he's got front wing damage as well, so we will probably be heading towards the pit lane at the end of this lap. If we look at the tires, we got 4 drivers on the softs and the majority on mediums, except for Yundi Sundi and Mitch scored, but they pitted in the opening few laps, and Typical confirmation pulling into the pit lane at the end of lap 5. Oh, that's a big moment for Sean, and that's created an opportunity for 10th Cannon. Just riding on board with our race leader, and he's went off at turn 7 and 8 over the sausage curb, and now 10th Cannon back within the DRS range. Toto is having, well, Turbo Toots trying to stay close to the leading 2. And he will be under pressure from Gold Samurai, who has got the DRS and the soft compound tires underneath his Williams. And can now fully close the gap back to Sean. And same could be said for Gold Samurai, as Yundi Sundi up the inside, but going way too deep into turn 1. Was going for the move on Jesus, and I think he's hit the wall. Or on the move on Hasa. Didn't quite work out, and now he's under pressure from Skoker from behind, who hits the back of the Alpine and saves his car. That's some solid car control, but went straight into the back of the Alpine, and unfortunately losing out a position to Alpha Eyeball, but he's lucky enough to keep it pointing in the right direction, because that was a bit too close for comfort for Skoker. He's now staring at the back of the Sauber as Yundi Sundi is now getting past Hasa. Although a bit of a moment mid-corner, but he is ahead of the RB. We move on to lap 8 and is 10th Cannon. He's gonna go for the move and try and retake the lead, or is she gonna stay behind for now? I think she is staying behind for now. And just manage the tires, which will be very important around this track. And Hasa re-overtaken the Alpine, and he's back up into P6. I think the mediums still are a bit better in this stage of the race. And that's Jesus and Gold Samurai switching positions, and Jesus up into P4. And I think the softs are definitely dropping off at this point. Softs are not a great tire choice around Barcelona. Wearing out very quickly with all these high speed corners. And Cannon is a bit closer than she was to Sean last lap. So she's going to go for the move with the help of DRS. Closing the gap. And to the inside into turn 1, she is deciding to stay behind. for now, but she's very close to the back as Hasa and Unisuni swap positions once again. Alpha High Wall up the inside in the turn. Well, that's a nice dive bomb up the inside, and Alpha High Wall up into P7, getting past the RB of Hasa, who's trying to come back though on the inside into turn 4. Not quite alongside, and has to back out, or else they would collide and go off into the gravel trap, and I think that's what Typical has done. Really struggling in this race. It's gone off in turn 7 once again. Will be hit with some blue flags already, and got front wing damage again as well. Not the race for Typical, and yeah, gets out of the way nicely there for the top 2, and Tent Cannon even closer now to the back of Sean. Go on to lap 10. And she might be able to go for the move this time. It surely is. And on lap 10, Tent Cannon retakes the lead as Jesus has gone past Tolu as well. And up into P3, Typical has retired in pit lane. But Tent Cannon is back into the lead. And now it's Sean in P2, and these two will be the two to look out for if there's not going to be any safety cars, which is obviously not a guarantee. But they do seem to be the quickest, unless Jesus can close the gap. And the gap is at the moment 1.5 seconds. But he is closing the gap, 1.3 now. So it looks like the pace is there for the Mercedes driver. Gotta love the caution sector 1 flashing in the top left. And Sean is going for the move, re-overtaking Tent Cannon on lap 11. A lap after he got overtaken by Tent Cannon, and they swap around once more. Prep now growing to Jesus to 1.5 again. So they can work together a bit with DRS. Try and keep Jesus out of that 1 second margin. That's a bit wide from Hasa and Alpha High Wall right behind him. Gold Samurai pitted last lap onto a set of hearts, and Hunter is pitting onto a set of hearts as well on this lap. I wouldn't be surprised if Jetty and Zimniak will be coming in at the end of this lap, because the softs are probably dropped off. And Jesus is desperately trying to get within the DRS. But he's not quite enough, 1.01. Maybe losing out by a few thousandths of a second. Oh, he's got the DRS, so he just got within the DRS. As Tent Cannon re-overtakes Sean again. Swapping positions on lap 12. But Jesus is now within the DRS range. It's now becoming a 3-way fight for the win. There we go, Chetty into the pit lane from the softs. Zimniak still staying out on these probably very worn out soft compound tires. He's still not quite able to pull away from the cars behind, despite being on the hards, and I think the hards will slowly but surely get the advantage over the mediums, as he gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits as you ran wide on the exit of turn 9. But got Hasa right behind him, and Alpha High Wall and Skullcutter. Train of 4 cars forming behind the back of the Alpine. Sean once again taking the lead in this race on lap 13. But I think he got the track a little bit as Simia gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's far from optimal. And I think he won't be able to serve it on this pit stop. So it's pretty much race ruined. Or can he serve it? I don't think he can. To the mediums he goes. That's a very optimistic strategy then. Very aggressive soft medium strategy. Have to do 20 more laps on those tires. Comes out of the pit lane and he still got that 10-second time penalty, which will hurt him very much later on in the race. And in the meantime, Haase has found a way past the Alpine. Still a 4-car train for P6 as Sean into the pit lane at the end of lap 13. He's going to be the first one of the top runners to pull into the pit lane. Tolu joins him as well in the Alpine, and it's going to be the hard compound tire underneath the Red Bull, and same will be for Tolu as well in the Alpine. And they are fighting it out once again. Unisundi getting past Haase again. And the Alfa Eval just trying to find a way past, but not really able to do it. Sean not quite in clean air and is right behind Lofty Pickles, getting all out of shape in front of him on these worn out mediums. And Sean will have to find a way past as soon as possible, or else he will lose a lot of time to Tent Cannon if she's coming in at the end of this lap. But I think his next opportunity is probably going to be on the back straight. But he's still losing time through these corners, so this is definitely hurting him. And it's good play into the hands of Tent Cannon as she finally able to get past on the back straight. Ahead of Lofty Pickle and Tent Cannon coming into the pit lane. So let's see, where is she going to come out compared to Sean? Did Sean lose too much time, or was his outlap still quick enough to beat Tent Cannon? And it's going to be double stack for the Kick Sauber team as Alfa Wall comes into the pit lane as well. And here comes Tent Cannon coming out of the pit lane. Is she ahead or just behind Sean? Here's Sean on the outside, Tent Cannon on the inside, wheel to wheel into turn 1. Sean round the outside and takes the virtual race lead. But it's still very close. And if Sean didn't get held up on his outlap, I think he would have been able to create a bit of a gap to Tent Cannon, but the undercut did not quite work because of the traffic. And Tent Cannon still right behind the Red Bull. And is Jesus going to pull into the pit lane on this lap? Yes, he is. Lap 15 of 33. And the Mercedes is into the pit lane, and Haase into the pit lane as well, as does Skullkiller in the Ferrari. Lofty Pickle still staying out though. And he continues staying out for yet another lap. But he's got the DRS of Tent Cannon, who's gonna try and go for the move maybe on Sean for the race lead. Here's Jesus coming out of the pit lane on the right hand side, and Jesus is coming out just ahead of Lofty Pickle, but the tires are still pretty cold, so is he gonna be able to stay within the 1 second gap to Tent Cannon? That's gonna be the question on this outlap. 8.5 tenths. I think he might be able to just stay within the 1 second margin. And he's got the DRS on the back straight, and the tires probably a bit warmer at this point. That's a good outlap from Jesus, and he's still definitely in the fight for the win. It is a three-way fight as Sunday pulls into the pit lane on lap 16 from the hard, so we'll have to do 16 laps or 17 laps on the mediums. A bit early to pit from the hards actually, but he is going to put on the mediums as 10th Cannon takes the lead on lap 17. And she once again leads this race ahead of Sean. Lofty Pickle still staying out. Is he probably going to go for an aggressive one stop from medium to soft maybe, but surely that's not fast enough. He will lose too much time on his current stint. Halfway into this race, and it's still very much these three fighting it out for P1 on track. Tolu is a good 4 seconds behind them. That's a bit of a gap to Gold Samurai as well. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. It's a massive scrap for P15 in this race. Quarter ahead of Mitch, who's got him into P16. And Tasley was on new mediums. Trying to stay with these guys as well. Around the outside goes Alpha Eyeball on Skoker, and Alpha Eyeball now up into P9. And that will become P8 when Lofty Pickle comes into the pit lane. Still staying out on these mediums. .15 laps to go as Mitch gets a time penalty. Sean is going to go for the race lead on lap 19, and re-overtakes 10th Cannon for yet another time in this race as they swap around once again. And G's still staying behind in P3. Tolu has got ahead of Lofty Pickle as Alpha Eyeball making another move. Alpha Eyeball on the moves, got past Hazard now as well. And he's now up into P8. Have a 3.5 second gap now to Gold Samurai. Right at the back of Unisuni on the mediums. He's a bit struggling at the moment. Not quite able to create a gap to the cars around him. Or contact as all late on the brakes as Kokiller gets spun around. Caught up in the moment, and Skullkiller is caught in the crossfire as Hasa makes contact with Alpha Eyeball, and it sends the Ferrari spinning around. Remember at the front end, 10th Cannon and Sean were fighting it out once more in this race. And you really hate to see it. Skullkiller around once again. Not the first time we've seen this season. Now he's almost 5 seconds behind and in P9. Still would be decent points if he finished there, but P7 was definitely possible. Maybe even P6, although Lofty Pickle he has finally pitted onto a set of softs, and 14 laps on softs is very optimistic, especially when pitted around lap 10-11 from the soft. So we'll see how we holds on at the end of this race. Much faster, of course, at the moment than the cars in front, getting past the Red Bull up the inside into turn 10. You're at the front end, Sean re-overtaking 10th Cannon once again, and Sean takes the lead on lap 21, and Jesus is having a little look now on 10th Cannon as well. On the inside, just looking, but deciding to stay behind for now. Oh, and Jesus into the wall. Jesus spinning out at the exit of turn 8, and that's his chance of a race victory certainly gone, and his chances at the championship reduced to well, certainly reduced. Not sure what to say, but Jesus spinning out. He's got front wing damage as well, and this race was his opportunity to try and close the gap and maybe extend his points gap to Wardy, but he's thrown it away on lap 22 out of 33, and Jesus will be outside the top 10 because he has to pit for new front wing, new tires, everything, and he will be maybe even out of the points. And that's your driver second in the championship, spinning out of contention. Massive shock in this race. Down to P13, P14 it is, so at the moment 2 measly points, and if there's not a safety car in this race, could very well be his final destination in this race. That is so unfortunate. In the meantime, Lofty Pickle set the fastest lap of the race on his charge on the softs. At the front end, it's now back into a 2-horse fight like it was at the beginning of this race, with Jesus taken out of the equation. It's Sean v 10th Cannon once again. And 10th Cannon retaking the lead with 11 laps to go. Gonna be like this, just switching positions every single lap. But you want to be the car behind going into the final lap. Alpha Eyeball fighting it out with Haza once more. Seen these two fight it out basically all race long already. Turns 7 and 8, we've seen so many people being caught out. It's a very tricky chicane. It's been proven by quite a few drivers already tonight. Two Ferraris look to be working together, or some degree. They go weaving on the back straight. Meanwhile, Sean retaking the lead on lap 24. 10 laps to go. And here comes Haza getting past Alpha Eyeball up into P6. JCB getting past Hunter into turn 1, but Hunter is trying to hold it around the outside, but not quite able to, and has to give up the position to the Red Bull for P12. 8 seconds behind this Jesus, but he's rapidly catching, so he might still gain a few positions. The damage has been done on Jesus' side. And Cannon decided to stay behind on this lap. Oh, okay. bit of a lag spike then. Almost looked like she turned straight into the wall, but fortunately that's not the case. As Alpha Igual has swap positions once more, and it's the two Sauers swapping positions back and forth every single lap in this race. Tent Cannon for the race lead, and Alpha Igual with Haza. Eight laps to go in this race. And is Tent Cannon just gonna stay behind? I think she is. She's pulling out of the slipstream. Not pulling back into it, but she's gonna go for a move anyway. So on to lap 26 into turn 1. Tent Cannon regains the lead. And they swap around once more, so I was wrong. She still goes for the move. She knows that Sean is gonna be back next lap. Same could be said for Haza and Alpha Igual as they swap around once again. Jesus now back up into P13. He's got past Hunter, who had a moment. Oh, he is having some connection issues. Getting teleported back, looks like. And he's now left the session, unfortunately. Meanwhile, we focus back to the battle out in front. And Cannon versus Sean. The two Alpines are doing a good job in P3 and P4 at the moment. Securing some good points for the French team. Alpine has been struggling so far in Tier 2. 8th in the constructors. But after today's race they could be gaining quite a few spots, especially when Gold Samurai gets a 3-second time penalty. It's gonna make Yuni Suni's job a bit easier. Here comes Alpha Igual again, getting past Haza into turn 1, P6. P10 might be possible for Jesus. I think he's got the pace to get past JCB and Chetien. With Simniak's 10-second time penalty, he certainly will be able to get that position as well. But P10 I think is going to be the maximum possible for Jesus, who was fighting for the win early on. Six laps to go in this race. Sean still leads ahead of Tent Cannon, who is now staying behind yet again. A handful of laps remaining. Here you go with the tires. The majority on used hards, and Unisuni basically only one who went for the alternative strategy, a hard medium. And then there's Lofty Pickle, who went for a very optimistic medium soft strategy, but he pitted on lap 20 or 22. No, 20 it is, so yeah, 14 laps on soft. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hang on to the stars with still 5 laps to go. We will find out if his tires drop off the cliff. He's still having good pace so far. And Jesus, of course, on the softs as well after his spin a few laps ago. Five laps to go. Sean leads, but Tent Cannon still very close behind. Just closing the gap, not going for the move. Just need to be the car behind going into the final lap. Let's take a look at the ERS actually. It's going to be pretty interesting as well. We've got yellow flags out in the final sector, I think. Not sure what happened. Sean definitely got the ERS advantage at the moment. Might have been Chetty who had a moment. Oh, that's a bit of dangerous weaving on the main straight. JCB gets past. Oh, what's happened there? Then I see bodywork flying around, and Chetty has had a coming together with JCB and Jesus slowing down as well. Not sure what's going on here. Jesus letting both of them through actually. Wonder if he had an illegal overtake or something like that. But is he going to send it up the inside here? Please do not send it up the inside here. That's a very audacious move by Jesus. Tent Cannon retakes the lead on lap 34 laps to go. And Jesus is going to pull to the inside now into turn 10. The McLaren has got damage to the front wing. So will they come in at the end of this lap? That's going to be the question. Jesus gets past up into P12. I think it might have been Skoker who has had a spin then, because he's now down at P10 behind Zimniak. And he was only a few seconds behind his teammate a few moments ago. So I think Skoker has spun around last lap. There we go, Jesus up into P11. And it will be P10 with Zimniak's penalty applied. This is turning into a massive fight then for P5. Alpha Ball has got past the Gold Samurai, so some 20 laps already on these tires. They're absolutely worn out. Haas is going for the move, bit aggressive from the Williams. Haas will have to go the long way around the outside. Is that going to work out? On the inside, contact between the two. And Haza on the inside, got Summer on the outside, and Lofty Pickle says thank you very much. He's now on the inside as well. And that's a Gold Samurai losing out 2 positions in 2 corners. Down to P8, and his tires are absolutely done with 3 laps to go. Lofty Pickle now trying to go for the move into turn 1. Getting past Haza, and Lofty Pickle up into P6. Somehow his tires are still staying alive, despite being underneath his Ferrari for 11 laps already. But he's still doing a good job, and he might go for that P5. Is currently in hands of Alpha High Wall. Almost a full battery for both of them. Tent Cannon leads the way going into the penultimate lap. And you really want to be the car behind going into the final lap. But Tent Cannon deploys all her, well, not all her ERS, but a bit of ERS on this straight. So she believes she should be the one in front going into the final lap. Well, that's fine if that's gonna be the right strategy. Because Sean will then have the DRS. On the final start-finish straight. Lofty Pickle gets past Alpha High Wall into turn 1, up into P5. This battle is definitely not over yet as well for P5, 6, 7 and 8. But we turn our eyes to the front end, Tent Cannon in P1, but Sean is right there. Got a full battery. And will have the DRS advantage going into the final lap. 3/4 tenths is the gap between the two. Sean now deploying all the ERS onto the final lap of this race. Here comes Sean with the DRS, ERS, slipstream, everything, and Tent Cannon defends the inside line, but is there anything she can do? The overspeed is there for Sean, and Sean gets the job done into turn 1. Sean takes the lead on lap 33 of 33 into turn 1, the final lap of this race. Is there anything that Tent Cannon can do to try and retake the position on this final lap? There's one back straight with DRS, but I'm not sure if it's long enough to try and re-overtake. She has to stay very close to the back of Sean, who is running up to back marker at this moment. If he's lucky, he's gonna get the DRS, but I don't think he quite has it. That's a very good exit from Tent Cannon. There's still an opportunity to go for the win. He's very close to the back. DRS open, ERS, and the slipstream. Is he gonna go to the inside, on the outside of Sean? Around the outside, going off track, and she's not quite able to get the job done, as Sean hangs on to the lead on the final lap of this race. 2 corners to go, and I think Sean is going to be able to do it. The final corner of the final lap, and Sean comes across the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix. Tent Cannon, out of frustration, smashes into the wall, as she could only manage 2nd place after such a long race with an incredible battle with Sean. She led for so many laps, but Sean is victorious at Barcelona, finally getting his win. Tent Cannon P2, Tolu in P3 with his teammate Juni in P4. Very good points for Alpine. Alpha Highball in P5, still incredible points for Kick Sauber. Hazda P6, Lofty Pickle dropped down to P7. Gold Samurai in P8, Skullkiller in P9, and Jesus rounds out the top 10. Zimniak in P11, JCB in P12, Tesla, Jetty and Hunters will round out the top 15 and the points paying positions. But wow, what a race that has been, and Sean has come out on top after a hard fought race, a long battle till the end, from lap 1 to lap 33. What a performance, wow. Lofty Pickle has been awarded Driver of the Day. We take a look at the podium celebrations. Scotland on top, as Sean is victorious. Take a look at the final result from P3 on the grid. Sean turned it into a victory. Tent Cannon could not quite get the win from pole position. Tolu has to settle for P3. The top 3 started inside the top 3 as well. Don't see that quite often. Unisundi in P4, Alpha Eyeball, and has a P5 and P6. Lofty Pickle in P7 with the fast lap point as well. Gold Samurai in P8, Skullkiller 9. Jesus in P10, and will not gain very many points on Wardy in the championship, and Sean definitely will. So it's going to be very tight at the top of the championship. Simniak in P11, out of JCB, Tazil, Hunters, Chetty Scorer, Mitch, Stevie Boy, and Typical, the only retirement in P19. Anyway, that's it for tonight for the Spanish Grand Prix. Next week, I think we will be back. We will certainly be back next week. And it's going to be the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which, will be no short of excitement too. So make sure to be there next week. Anyway, thanks everyone for checking in, and I will see you guys next time, next week. Goodbye, and have a good evening.